It's time for another Football Manager rebuild, and today we're going to be rebuilding, well, I don't actually know yet because this is a very special video. We have made it in collaboration with Surprise Shirts and their FM Edition mystery box, which you can see very nicely displayed by myself right here. In here is a random kit from a random club that are playable in Football Manager. So that could be a first division team in Spain, a third division team in Germany, whoever it is, they are going to be a playable team in the game. And in this mystery box is the team that we're going to rebuild in today's video. We'll give ourselves 5 seasons to try and take whatever club is in here to as good heights as we can get them to. Who knows what that will be before we open this. Now with FM24 on the horizon soon, these mystery boxes are perfect if you haven't yet figured out who you're going to manage, or if you're looking for a completely unique save idea where you don't actually get to pick and choose the club you want, you just have to manage whatever club is in this box. Now before we get into it, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Surprise Shirts and then we'll see who we're rebuilding today. Surprise Shirts is a mystery football shirt website that allows you to purchase a mystery football jersey from any club from around the world. Now that could be a big team, it could be a non-league team, it's all completely random. You can get one-off mystery boxes, which could be the perfect gift as we close in on Christmas, or you can go for the monthly subscription model, which allows you to get a new shirt every single month sent straight to your door. Even though the shirt will remain a mystery, don't worry, you can select your size, you can even select your preference of fit and also sleeve length. Now Surprise Shirts also allows you to put in some notes before you place your order, whether it's eliminating certain teams that you don't want, colours that you don't want, or maybe even certain leagues, that way you don't get any clubs you don't like for me with Spurs. A big thank you to Surprise Shirts for working with us on this video, and to give back to you guys, if you put in Cooper10 in the checkout, you will get 10% off your order. But now it's time to get the shirt open. Okay, moment of truth time. We're going to open up the mystery box, figure out who we're going to be rebuilding. I have left this as a genuine surprise because I wanted it to be a surprise in the video, but I have seen Omega Luke did a surprise shirt mystery box before, and he had a little card at the front when he opened it, which told him a bit about the club. So I imagine that's what we'll see first, and then we'll see the shirt. So let's see what's going to be replacing this Netherlands shirt right now for this video. Let's see if we can figure out how to open it up. There we go, we've got it. Let's see, we have got NEC Nijmegen, who is apparently a Dutch professional football club who play in the Eredivisie. There's plenty more information on here that we'll cover later, but I want to see the shirt. More importantly though, we have got some Haribo in there. The shirt currently, if you don't believe me, is covered by some white paper, so I have no idea what it looks like. And there is also the NEC Nijmegen thing up there, which I didn't see. But yeah, we're going to take these things out. Let's get this shirt opened up and see what we've got. Hopefully there's not too many rustling sounds on the mic right now. Right, let's do this. Let's see the shirt. And it is actually... That's actually lovely. I'm very surprised at that. That's awesome. I think that's a great shirt. Here you go. This is a team we're going to be rebuilding. It's kind of fitting, actually. We've got a Netherlands shirt on here. We've got a Vitesse shirt in the background, which is an Eredivisie team. And now we've got NEC Nijmegen shirt right now with a cool sponsor, cool kit design. Very much a fan of this. Green, red, and black. I think this is awesome. We're going to put this on, and then we're going to get the rebuild started. Okay, so the shirt is on, it's a brilliant fit, and in the meantime, I've been doing some research about the club, and I think it's actually pronounced NEC Nijmegen. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's definitely closer than what I originally said. I haven't got the Dutch pronunciation in my vocabulary, but hopefully that was a little bit better. This club, though, is going to be a very interesting one to rebuild, or should I really say build, because I'm not sure this club really has that much history. Now, I don't want to say that. They do have history. They've been going for over 100 years. Amazing stuff. But in terms of trophy wins and like being at a certain level, they've never really had that. The closest they've came to a trophy was runners-up in the Dutch Cup on 4 occasions, latest one being in 2000s. They've been 3rd place in the Eredivisie back near World War II kind of times. So they haven't actually had much silverware to their name, but they have been around mid-table in the Eredivisie for the majority of this millennia by the looks of it. But we're going to try and change that, because the aim of this rebuild, let's be honest, we're not going to win the Champions League, but I think the aim should be to topple Ajax at the top of the Eredivisie, Feyenoord, AZ Alkmaar, whoever it is, PSV. We are going to become the biggest team in the Eredivisie and hopefully win an Eredivisie title. That's going to be the aim, and we're actually going to do 6 years in this video because this team is starting off from a pretty low position in terms of a financial standpoint. We won't actually be able to do too much, so let's break down where we're at. Financially, we have 3 million million in the balance. We've been given £400,000 to spend. The facilities at the club are decent, and we've got a small stadium of 12,500. However, the board want us to upgrade this. Now, we do have some players that we can rely on. For example, we've got former regular in the Netherlands national team, Jasper Cillessen, who has came back to his hometown club, having been there earlier in his career. Obviously, he's been to Ajax, Barca, Valencia, and now he's made his way back to our side, and he is going to be a vital player for us, I'm sure. Other talents include Bram Neutink here, a centre-back with a lot of ability who's going to command our back line, but again, he's a bit on the older side at 32. And the theme continues with Bas Dost, who is a brilliant striker, or at least was very prolific back in the Portuguese divisions for Sporting Club de Portugal, but now he's lost his legs a bit, if he ever really had them, mind you, and I'm not sure how good he's going to be, but he is our main man. He has that crazy stat about him where he scored like 50 goals in a row with first-time touches, so he is clearly a clinical finisher, and hopefully we'll see that in this simulation. In terms of players with potential, some of our stars look like they could be Magnus Madsen here, a Danish left-sided player who can cut in on his right foot. Bart van Rooij is a 21-year-old right-back who can play as a wing-back kind of thing, get forward, put some crosses in, but also put in a defensive shift. He's got a good bit of potential, at least compared to the calibre of players we have at the club. And Robin Roos here, a young goalkeeper with a lot of potential too. Again, probably butchered a pronunciation of these players, but I'm giving it my best shot. So I'm going to take a look around now, figure out a tactic, try and use that £400,000 the best we can to upgrade this team ahead of our first season before we really get stuck in season 2. So let's see what we can do in the transfer window. As predicted, we couldn't really do too much with our budget in the first season. I shifted most of the transfer budget over to wage budget to extend some contracts and also bring in a free transfer. We've gone for 26-year-old Angolan international Estrela, who comes in having played in the Portuguese divisions for the majority of his career, but has recently been playing out in Turkey. Now, he's going to be a good box-to-box presence, a nice addition to our central midfield areas, and we are going to need that with the formation we're playing because we do have 3 centre mids, or at least 2 and 1 defensive-minded midfielder. We're playing a 4-3-3 system. We've got a few decent players on the flanks, but maybe not so much through the spine of our team, so I'm hoping this will help us. And going into season 1, our best 11 to introduce you to them is Cillessen in goal, who you've met, Van Rooij, who you've also met, Sandler at the back with Neutink, and then at left back, we've got Verdonk, who looks like a handy option. In midfield, we've got Lasse Schön. You might recognise his name. He's a 36-year-old Danishman who's been around the block, particularly a big part of his career at Ajax. We've also got Huidemakers in the midfield with Estrela, the new incoming, Roba, who's on loan from Real Betis, I believe, and then on the left we've got Madsen, who we've met, and Bas Dost as well. So with that team, we're predicted to finish 9th with 100-to-1 odds of winning the title. Hopefully, fingers crossed, things work out for us. Let's see what we can do in season 1 to get this rebuild started. Okay, so quite surprisingly, this has been a good first season. It's not amazing, but I'll definitely take it. We have finished with NEC Nijmegen in the 6th position with 56 points, which is still a very big distance away from any kind of European place, but we solidify ourselves in that area. We're outside of the best of the rest, but above all the lower mid-table teams who are threatened with relegation. Us, AZ Alkmaar and Twente are just on the border of those top 4 positions taken by Utrecht, PSV, Ajax and Feyenoord, and those final 3 are going to be the ones that we're really competing with during this rebuild to try and get to the top of the division. But a 6th place finish is certainly not bad to start off with. I won't focus too much on it because we really didn't do too much to help it. It was kind of just a team we inherited, but we've got £2 million to spend next summer alongside 11,000 in the wage budget. And just to have a look, our best performers to build off of next season are Bas Dost, who is of course the old man that's only going to be getting worse, but he did score a lot of goals and was very useful in the Eredivisie this year. And Madsen as well has had a very good season, coming in with 14 goals and 6 assists. So it looks like we've got a decent start to build up from. Obviously, that team's never really going to challenge the title, but hopefully with the right transfers, we can turn it around. So let's see what we can do. Before we get into Season 2's transfers, I'm just going to ask you guys to do me a quick favour. Just hear me out. If you do enjoy this video, it would mean the world and help so much if you could just hit the like button. You can press it, forget about it, costs you nothing, but really helps the channel and helps the videos grow on YouTube. And also, if there's ever a time to subscribe, we are so close to the 25,000 subscriber mark. Normally, 70 to 80% of the people watching aren't subscribed. So if you're one of them, hit that button, especially ahead of FM24. This is as good a time to do it as any. So thank you to anyone who does that, 25k will be such an awesome number to reach. Comment down below your rebuild ideas for FM24. And finally, a new thing that we mentioned in our last couple of rebuilds is I do have a Patreon now, which you can find linked in the description. And over there, we've been posting the rebuild save files. So you can come over, support me as a creator, and in return for you guys that have asked for it, you can get access to the save files from these videos. We'll have a save file at the end of each season of the rebuild, so you can take over and give the rebuild a shot yourself at any point, should you want to. But don't worry, that's all the plugin done. We can get back to the video, so let's see who we bought in, and firstly, who we sold. Pedro Marques was our backup striker, a Portuguese national coming in from the Portuguese divisions, I believe. Yeah, came in, played once for us, we sold him on 55,000 to TND. Let's act like he never even existed. But a sale that won't be easy to replace is Jasper Cillessen, who I imagine came here to kind of retire his career, but after a good year last time out, there was some interest from Fulham. They offered us £2.5 million to take Cillessen to London. We accepted it because he said he'd be unsettled if he wasn't allowed to leave, so we thought, you know what, we'll take the cash for a 33-year-old, and we're going to give those opportunities to our young goalkeeper, Robin Roos, with plenty of potential to hopefully develop in the net. But we've also added some extra players in the market. The first signing was Cameroonian 28-year-old Gabi Kiki, who joins us on a free deal after some good seasons out at Sheriff Tiraspol out in Moldova. A nice option. He's just going to be a squad player, nothing more than that. But I feel like that's definitely something we need to increase the depth in our team. We've got a new backup goalkeeper. Doubt we'll ever really mention him again, but Tijmen Niehaus here is going to compete with Roos for that #1 shirt across the course of our second season. After that, who knows, hopefully Roos will grow on to be better than him, but we've got two decent keepers here with Cillessen leaving. This could be an awful transfer, it could be a stroke of genius, I don't know. We've gone for Mohamed Ehaterin here, who, if you don't know, was a wonder kid of former years, but some stuff's happened in his life, I believe, injury problems and off the pitch stuff, so he's got free determination in game, he's got low consistency, injury proneness, everything you wouldn't want in a player, but something tells me he's still got something to prove here in the Eredivisie, so we've gone for him. Our scouts recommended him. If you don't know, we only sign players our scouts recommend in these videos. We've paid £700,000 to Lech Poznan for the player, who played most of his game time last year in their second team, as well as some appearances for the first team, but we've brought him in. The former Juve, Ajax and PSV man is looking to find his feet at the age of 21, and hopefully he can do it here. We've got a deputy to Bas Dost now, someone that I'm hoping will grow to be potentially as valuable a player as him. Whether he'll be as good is another question, but we've gone for 20-year-old Hungarian international Andres Nemeth here from Hamburg in the second division of Germany. Didn't play too much for them. We paid £300,000 for him. I think he's got talent. I think he's got the ability. He's got potential too. Fingers crossed this one works out and we get a good striker for a very cheap fee, which, by the way, is the way we're going to have to do things here. We don't have much money at all, so we've got to try and buy young, buy talented players, get players on a free, and then we've got to sell them on for a profit to try and fund the team, because there's no other way to get around it, really. We're not going to be able to compete with Champions League clubs with the money we've got. And when we buy, we want to buy quality, and for our final signing of Season 2, I think we've done exactly that. Sean Adevoye here, a Belgian 22-year-old centre-back, coming in from fellow Eredivisie side, RKC Volvic. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, but £3.5 million for him. I've realised I've pronounced that like the water brand Volvic, so it's almost definitely wrong, but yes, Adevoye here is in as our best centre-back option at the club alongside Bram Neutink. He's got potential. He's going to be a leader by the looks of it with 15 leadership. He's strong. He looks like a great player. Only issue is he's 5'11", which might hinder him a little bit, but hopefully not. I definitely think he's a good signing and he comes straight in to our best 11. So now we've got those transfers done, we can really see how our team will do. It's still not quite where I'd want it, but this will be good to get a judge of where our club is at. Fingers crossed things will go well. We are looking to upgrade the facilities in the stadium, but we need money to do that, so we need to have a good second season. Let's see if we can aim for a European spot in Season 2. And this has gone surprisingly well so far. Season 2 is finished with us in a Europa League position, a 4th place finish in the league, miles off mind you, any of the 3 teams above us in Feyenoord, PSV and Ajax, but we've separated the gap between us, Twente, AZ Alkmaar and Utrecht, who got 4th place last year. Obviously European football was too much for them and they fell all the way into 9th. So a very good season for us. We've only lost 7 games all year, and those 7 were actually to teams we'd expect to lose. Oh, and by the way, when I did my research, I found something pretty interesting, and that is that our club's biggest rivals are Vitesse Arnhem, who is kind of my Dutch side. It was the first Dutch team that I managed in FM, and I took a bit of an affiliation towards them, which is why we have a shirt in the background, which is a bit blasphemous right now, because these two clubs are rivals, and I've got to put all hopes aside for Vitesse and try and beat them in every competition we can. So, sorry Vitesse fans, I'm on the other team for today's video. But yeah, 63 points, a very good first year, second round exit in the Dutch Cup to a team that we should never lose to, which is very disappointing. But look, we'll take it. It's a good start, very good start, mind you. Bas Dost yet again hitting the goals with 23 and 34 appearances. Lasse Schön doing well. Bart van Rouge continuing to develop at right back. Potentially a future Dutch international there if things go well. Tavzan, a young winger, is also doing pretty well for us. Maatsen's had another good season for us. 2 good seasons in a row, hitting goals and assists. So very thankful to him for doing the job on the side of the pitch there. But there you go. Season 2 is over. I'm trying to move through these seasons quite quick because we are going for 6 seasons, so it might be a long video. So let's see who we can bring in the season 3 transfer window as we really start to make this team our own. Our first big sale of season 3, less of a sale, more of his contract expired, but Bas Dost has left the club to go play out in Qatar for Qatar SC. He's probably about a year or so away from retiring, so he can enjoy his paycheck out in Qatar, and we say goodbye to a brilliant striker. Anders Streyer, who we bought in season 1 to help us out, didn't play too much last year, so we let his contract expire, and he's got a pretty favourable move to Stade Reims in the French divisions, where he's going to be a squad player. He was useful for us, but we have replaced him, I would say, very adequately. Firstly, we've bought in Ulrich Saltnes. Now, this is a little bit different to the other transfers because we actually signed him in season 2 as an end of contract deal, and because of the division he was in, playing in Norway for Bodo Glimt, his contract expired with them in January of last summer, so he only joined us halfway through the season, but he looked pretty good, he played a fair amount, and I do think he's going to be a useful player for us. Yes, he's 31, but he's a good talent, he's a leader, he can play anywhere in the spine of that pitch, and I think for free, that's a great bit of business. We fill out our midfield, particularly filling in Estrella's minutes by signing free agent Kevin Ducouré, an Ivorian who's been playing most of his football out in Romania for Cluj. He's had 2 very good seasons for them, played in Slovenia as well, and now he's stepping into the Eredivisie. 25 years of age, potential to get better, and a very good squad option to have in the team. His wages aren't crazy, we got him for free. Again, another bit of nice business. Next, we've got a potential wide option who I think we're going to try and deploy up front as well, potentially, because he does have the ability to do so. It's Milos Pantovic, a Serbian 21-year-old. We get him for completely free after 2 seasons at TSC. Now he's 6'1", fairly quick, fairly strong, decent in the air, can finish, can dribble, can pass, can cross. Good wide option, good forward option, definitely a good depth player who can get much better from where he is right now. So maybe a future star in our team, and we've got him for zilch. And speaking of zilch and free agent players, we finished those kind of transfers off by signing Marvin Plattenhardt here, a German 32-year-old, former international with Germany, mind you, left back who comes in from Borussia Dortmund. He didn't do too much there, but he spent most of his career at Hertha Berlin and Nuremberg, where he's been a very talented player. Like I say, did get international appearances. Yes, his legs might be going a little bit, but he's so good going forward. The teamwork, the long throw-ins, the free kicks, the crossing, the corners, he'll be creating so many chances for us, particularly from set pieces, and I'm delighted to have him on board at our team. And finally, we've got Kerem Kalafat, who we did pay some money for, 23-year-old Turkish national for 350,000 from the Turkish divisions. Obviously, we've got Van Rooij there, but we needed a deputy, and our scouts couldn't really find anyone that would be willing to be a deputy, so I had to go for a younger player, and we stumbled into Kalafat here, who's joined us. Is he going to be great? I don't know, but he's a depth player for now, and I'll certainly take him in the team. So that's our team ready for the 3rd season, which will bring us to the halfway mark of this rebuild, and I'm liking what we've got so far. Roofs is in goal, Adevoye and Neutink in the centre of defence. With Plattenhardt at left back, we've got Huidenmakers in the midfield alongside Dirk Proper, an academy product who's developing very nicely here at the club over the last few seasons. Saltnes, who we mentioned earlier, Tavzan, Maatsen and Pantovic. I'm sure him and Andres Nemeth there are going to really take up the minutes in that forward position and compete for goals, but let's see how the team can do in season 3. You will see things are starting to get better in terms of the facilities, which is always a good sign, and I'm really hoping this team we've assembled can slowly start to climb up the Eredivisie and put some pressure on those big 3. Okay, this has gone far beyond my expectation. This must be some kind of lucky mystery shirt or something. We've had a great year. Firstly, we've got the Dutch Cup, where we did not win it, but we were runners-up to Ajax 4-1 in the final. We made it to a final, nearly won our first trophy at the club. Sky Vink scoring the goals there for Ajax. Apparently, the 18-year-old played a few times in the cup and did us in. But yeah, we got all the way to the final. But that's definitely progress in at least one competition. The Europa League, we got into the league phase and actually made it out with 10 points, finishing right at the bottom. 3 wins against Legia, Maccabi Tel Aviv and Molde. 1 draw away against Luzern, and then 4 losses to Roma, Slavan Bratislava, Karabag and Rangers put us into the knockout playoff round, where we came up against Schalke and beat them 5-3, which is obviously crazy already. We've knocked out a team there to get into the round of 16 of the Europa League. And remember, we're only in season 3 with this measure here, and this could be pure luck, and I'm pretty sure it is. We then came up against Roma and beat them 6-5. It says Capitoline, that is just the name fixed for Roma. But yes, we beat Jose Mourinho's team in European competition to get to the quarterfinal, where Napoli put us to the sword, beating us 4-2. So I'm definitely classing that as a win. We got all the way to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, but that isn't the best part of this season. Let's have a look at the league, where we finish on 75 points, 1 point more than PSV, closing that gap, but also only 4 points away from Feyenoord, who won the title. We drew 3, lost 7 with a decent goal difference, a 75-point total, winning all but 10 of our matches across the course of the season. Most importantly, though, we have bonkersly qualified for the Champions League. Now, third place, I believe, isn't going to be straight qualifying for the league phase. I imagine we'll have to do some playoffs to get into the league phase, so there's a good chance we don't actually make it to the Champions League proper. But even so, this is a great place for us to be. It's going to help us build. It was Pantovic who helped us the most this season. The Serbian scored 15 and assisted 9 in the Eredivisie, scoring 24 in all comps. Maatsen had his best year yet, in my opinion, getting 9 goals and 8 assists in the league, but also 14 goals in all competitions. Adavoye doing well. Saltnes doing great with 14 goals from midfield. Dirk Proper gets 10. Interestingly enough, Hungarian Andres Nemeth gets 24, but doesn't get a very high average match rating overall. But he was very useful this year. And yeah, we've got goals from all over the pitch. Tavzan with 10. Much better team effort than we had before, which is great to see. Now, being in European competition, we need to add some depth to this team, and we've got some money to do that. We have the Europa League money now. That's put £13 million in the balance, and it's given us £4 million to spend. So let's see what we can do with this kind of money. Firstly, we added to our transfer kitty by getting rid of some players, one being Mohamed Atarin. I said it might work out, I said it might not. I had a lot of faith in him, but it just didn't quite go that way, even when we forced him some game time in Season 1. He ends up leaving us for 300k. We lose 400k on him, but I feel like he was worth the chance. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out for him in the Eredivisie yet again. Kerem Kalafat, who we signed only last summer, has decided to leave the club for 275,000. We lose a bit of cash, but it is what it is. We've got a better player in that position now, and he has gone to join Turkish side Konyaspor. Perhaps controversially though, our biggest sale was Andres Nemeth, who left us for 575,000. And that is controversial because last season he was very talented, but I feel like we've got a better player in that position now. He had some interest in him. It made sense to move him on because he wasn't going to get much game time when you see who we've bought in. So yes, Nemeth is out the door, and let's get into the incomings in what is by far our best summer yet. And there's quite a lot of them coming in, so I'll try and move through them quick. Firstly, a free signing, a brilliant one, Tommy St. Jago, 25-year-old centre-back with a lot of ability all around, 6'2", a good physical presence who's also quick and a consistent performer, joins us from Willem II out in the second division of the Dutch leagues. He might be a little bit injury prone by the looks of it, but he is a very talented player, suffering from an injury right now. If we can get him to recover and monitor his fitness, we could have a great player here. And speaking of great players, this signing brings me so much joy. Milion Manhuef has joined us on a free transfer from Vitesse Arnhem, and there's 3 different things that make this signing great. Firstly, he is immensely talented, a brilliant player to get on a free, valued at 8 million, great deal, and he's going to get a lot better yet. A future Dutch international, almost certainly. Secondly, this man is as versatile as they come, can play anywhere on the left or on the right, but most importantly, we steal him from Vitesse Arnhem, who is, of course, in this world, remember I do like the club normally, but in this world, they're our rivals right now, and to be able to take their best player, arguably, to our team for completely free, it's great. And the reason we were able to do that is they got relegated into the second division about a season or so ago, which I missed. And for that reason, he wanted to leave at the end of his deal. We stolen him. Since then, Vitesse have made it back into the Eredivisie, I believe. Yes, so you can see it there. But we've taken one of their best players in the process, and I'm buzzing with that. Alongside him, we've brought in Lucas Vasquez, which allowed us to sell Karim Fat, who we mentioned earlier. Yes, he's 34. Yes, he's old, but he's experienced. He's played for Real Madrid. He's played for Leipzig in this world. What a guy. What a player. To bring him to our pretty small Dutch club I'd say it's a real coup for the team. Timo Becker also joins us on a free, able to play centre-back or right-back alongside many other positions, including, apparently, striker. I don't know how, but yes, he's joined us on a free contract. He's left Kiel after 3 good seasons there in the Bundesliga too. Just going to be a depth option. Wages aren't crazy, so I figured, you know what, it makes sense. Give us some depth, and we're going to need that now, playing in a few different competitions. The final free signing was Matthias Vecino here, a very experienced Uruguayan international who can play central midfield. He's been playing for Lazio and Inter most recently in his career. Yes, his legs are gone, but he's a very talented player. Experience is never a bad thing to have, particularly when, other than that, we've got a very young team. So it's good to have these experienced players around those younger guys. Daniel Ruiz is in on loan. We've paid about £1 million to take him on loan from FC Porto for the year. There's an option to sign a Colombian for 2.5 million, but it will depend how well he does this year as to whether we activate that option, but clearly a talented player. And at 24, he's about to step into the prime of his career, where hopefully we can be the benefiters of that. But the reason that we sold Andres Nemeth and our last signing of this transfer window was because we bought new gen Antonio Garrido. Now, I know some people don't like it when we buy new gens, but the longer we go on in these rebuilds, the more new gen players that we have to kind of buy as the years go by, and Garrido was a must purchase for me. At £1 million when our scouts found him at Alaves, he just looked like the real deal. Whether it's going to work out is another question. This guy is not yet ready for the first team, I'd say. He's probably getting close, but I really think he could step it up. He's good physically, technically, and mentally. If he develops even just a little bit, we have got a star on our hands here. So let's see how this team can do in our 4th season now, I believe. We're getting close to the end, actually. Only 2 more seasons after this. So hopefully we can really kick on this year, give the Champions League a go, try and make the league phase, and bridge that gap closer and closer towards winning the Eredivisie title. And you know what? It's not been the world's most amazing season, but it's definitely something to build off of. Whether it's as good as last year, you guys can be the judge of that. But the Dutch Cup, we got knocked out in the 3rd round. Unfortunate, let's forget about it. The Champions League is the interesting one, and the reason I think we can be happy. We made it into the knockout playoff rounds. Now, that isn't just the qualifiers for the league phase. No, we actually got past the league phase then. So let's see how we did. If we have a look at the league path, we weren't in the 2nd qualifying round. Does that mean we came in the 3rd? We did. We beat Club Brugge 5-2 on an aggregate victory, which meant we still would have had another match to make it into the league phase, where we beat Lille 2-1, just making it in to that league phase, where we finished in a very good position, 17th. Okay, 4 wins there against Inter, Cluj and Ferencváros. So 2 fairly easy games, but 2 of those are incredible wins and historic wins for the club. We lost 4, losing to Real, Arsenal and Leipzig away from home, and Trabzonspor at home. So I think that's a phenomenal turn of events. We get into the knockout playoff rounds, and once again, it is the boys over at Napoli who destroy us, winning 6-1 on aggregate. So disappointing in that sense, but to make it that far already is crazy. I didn't think we'd get there in the whole rebuild, never mind in season 4. So I'm buzzing with that. The league, look, we got 3rd place again. It's the same position, but it's worse points total than before, and the gap between us and the top is actually getting bigger over time. So we really need to step it up in the transfer window. It could just be unlucky and Feyenoord and Ajax were great, but we do want to be doing better than this, so we need to improve. Vitesse are in 6th, so they're closing in on us slowly, and we've got £11 million to spend next summer with 150,000 in wages. Okay, that's a big deal. The wages is a very big amount. I was expecting a little bit more on the transfer front, considering where we got in the Champions League, but the wages are definitely going to help us. We can really make some business happen there. You'll also notice we are in a new stadium. That's because we're playing in Vitesse's stadium, I believe, because our stadium is currently in development to make it bigger, but you can see that the junior coaching, the youth recruitment, we have leveled up to a much higher level than before. The training and youth facilities are also better than they were originally by a long distance, and our staff situation is getting good. We're not just improving the playing staff here, we are improving the whole team. Now, in terms of overall performers, Garrido has had a brilliant year. The young 18, 19-year-old striker got 17 in the league and has continued to develop up front. Maatsen having his best year yet, just getting better and better. 16 goals and 5 assists in the league. What a star this Danishman is. Never came across him. Still not capped for the national team. No idea why. They need to cap him because he is an unbelievable talent. And you might notice a new name here. I should probably introduce him. Gunnarsson, Patrick Sigurður Gunnarsson, is an Icelandic goalkeeper who's came in as our best option in the net in January. Same thing happened before where we offered him a contract in the summer. It expired in Norway in January, which meant he joined us then, and he came in as our best goalkeeper straight away, performing great at the age of 25 and a nice player to have. So that is that part done. We've covered everything there. Now we're heading into our 5th season, not our final. We're going to do 6 seasons in this rebuild. A treat for you guys as we close our FM23 journey. But we are progressing so well with this club. club. We've got money to spend now, and hopefully with that, we can start pushing up, maybe get second place in the league this year, and maybe in the last season we can get first. That's the progression we're after. So let's see the kind of players that might be able to help us towards that journey. And it's been a huge summer yet again, some insane signings coming in. Let's start with the sales though. Matthias Vecino has left to join FC Lorient. Was good for us for the year or so that he was here, but his legs are gone. He's going to get a big paycheck out in the French division, so good luck to him. We say goodbye to another old head with Lucas Vasquez leaving the club at the age of 35 to go play for Al Rayyan. They're a Qatari side who have offered us 150k. I mean, Vasquez was good for us for the year he was here, but again, getting older, we'll take the money, get him off the wage bill and reinvest in the team. And our final old player that we're saying goodbye to is Plattenhardt, who is still amazing technically and mentally, but physically has declined pretty massively. Last season didn't do too much. The first year he was here, he was great though, and now he's gone to the second division out in Germany to see out the remainder of his career. Okay, sit back, grab the popcorn. We're going to go through loads of incomings now. Firstly, we've got Marcus Solbakken, another Norwegian player that fit the exact same bill as what we did the season before, offering him a contract in the summer when he only had 6 months left. He joined us in January and did okay for us, but I think he's going to continue to grow, but he's a good depth player to have in the team. We've got Martin Vitic, who's a 23-year-old Czech international who joins us from Sparta Prague, where we've got him for a free deal, but we had to pay a bit of compensation of 60k, but that's nothing for the kind of quality player we're getting here, and he's going to come in as our third or fourth choice centre-back. The star of this window that's coming in, though, is Elias Shikiri here. He comes in as one of our best players, 92 international appearances for Tunisia, 31 years of age, a brilliant defensive midfielder, valued at about 40 million. He's been playing for Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, FC Cologne, and Montpellier as well. What a talent he is, and he is coming in as maybe the best player at the club right now. I'll run through these quick because the free signings did continue. Pedro Vite joined us from Bayern Munich on a free deal, Ecuadorian international. Will he play? I don't know, but he's got potential, and if nothing else, he's going to make us some cash. Marko Lazatic comes in from AC Milan as our backup striker. 22-year-old Serbian national joins us on a free contract. He has played in the Eredivisie before for Fortuna Sittard, where he played okay, but now he's 22. He's ready to hit the ground running, and he comes in as a great striking option to compete with Garrido. Roberto Insigne is a 32-year-old Italian wide player who can cut in from the right on his left foot, who fits our tactic perfectly. Again, bought in on a free contract from Palermo out in Italy, where he was good in both Serie B and Serie A. So we're delighted to bring him in for absolutely no cost. And Joshua Wagnerman also joins us on a free to give us depth at both right and left back for £12,000 a week. Not bad. But then we spent some real money on two players in our final two signings of this window. Firstly, it's 25-year-old Kevin Ortiz, who joined us from Rosario Central out in Argentina after 5 brilliant seasons for them, consistently hitting great average match ratings. 3.7 mil, I think, is really good business for the quality of player we've got here. He enjoys big matches, he's a consistent performer, and I think he is going to be one of the best signings we've got so far, and for just under 4 million, it's good value for money too. And for a similar fee of just under 4 mil, we have signed Bosnian 24-year-old Amir Dedic from RB Salzburg, can play left back and right back, mainly a left back though, even though he is right-footed. Great ability, used to be a wonder kid, but over the years in this rebuild, he hasn't progressed the way you might have liked, but he is still a very talented player. To get him for so cheap after 3 very good seasons for RB Salzburg, his latest one wasn't as good, but maybe he was wanting to leave the club, I don't know. He's going to find a home here, and hopefully he'll do a great job for us. And our best 11 is now significantly improved. If we have a look at it, you'll recognise some great players in there now. In goal is Gunnarsson. We've got Van Rooij at right back, who's now 25 and developing very well. Adavoye and St. Jago with Dedic at left back. Then we've got Shikiri, Ortiz, Saltnes, Manhoef, Matson and Garrido. Now Matson is just developing better and better every single year. I mean, he's considered one of the best players at the club, loved by the fans, and you can't blame them. And as we head into season 5, you can see our facilities are looking great, as is our junior coaching. We're going to try and push even further this year. Let's go for second place and maybe again make the Champions League phase. I'd be more than happy with that. Get some cash in the bank to reinvest in our final year. Let's see what we can do. And we have a great result here for you guys. In Season 5, we have delivered the first bit of silverware to the club. We have won the Dutch Cup, beating none other than our rivals, Vitesse Arnhem, in the final. But it's the first time this club has ever won the Dutch Cup, and I'm delighted to deliver that to this side. And we also got second place, as mentioned. That was the aim. We finished above Feyenoord, who finished 5th. No idea how they fell off so much this year. PSV also only finished on 72 points, and we did well on 77, but not well enough because Ajax only lost 3 times all year. But we are slowly closing the gap towards the top of the table, and what this will mean, a second place finish, will mean, I imagine, straight qualification for the league phase of the Champions League. I could be wrong there, but I feel like I'm right, so I feel like that will be a big improvement for us. Saying that though, we have once again made it out of the qualifying rounds. We came up against Rangers here, beat them 4-3, very nice, and that took us into the playoff, where we beat Benfica 6-5, what a game that was, to make it into the league phase. And we've actually done okay again. We win 3 games against Milan, Monaco and Slavia Prague. We draw to Atletico Madrid away from home, lose to Bayern, lose to Man U, lose to CSK Sofia and Porto. I wish we could have won that Sofia game, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. We went in to the knockout playoff round, where we came up against Celtic, who we saw on the home screen did beat us. I would say we should be able to beat Celtic, but it looks like they've comfortably put us to the sword there. So maybe not. Maybe they are a better team than us at this stage. Fair play, we'll take it. That's going to put some more money in the bank, 36 million. And next summer, we're going to have 11 million and about 70 grand in the wage budget to spend. Let's see who our best performers were this year. If we take a look at the average match ratings, Lazetic, of all people, comes in and gets 30 goals. I thought he'd only be a backup striker, but he's really hit the ground running here, alongside Matson, who again continues to get better and better. What a star he is, man. Never heard of him before, but he's so good. Van Rooij, 8 goals. Pantovic, 8 goals. Garrido only gets 10 this year, so his development is slowing down, although saying that, he looks like a phenomenal player. They're doing such a good job, and you will see we've moved back into our own stadium now with a larger capacity than it originally had. But in the background, we're also building a new stadium, which is awesome that we're progressing this team. Nijmegen here are on the up. And then on top of that, 20 youth recruitment, 20 junior coaching, great youth facilities and great training facilities. I'll try and work on them in our last season, but things are going so well here. And we've got one more season, maybe to deliver another trophy, but we're going to need some new players to help us get there. Starting off with the sales, Pedro Vite didn't really work out for him, and he has left us to join Salernitana for just over 5 million. And that will be, I believe, our record sale of the window. We rejected a big offer from our young Spanish striker of about 18 million from Brentford, so that will be our biggest sale because I'm not making any more after this. But Timo Becker has also left the club. He's joined Hertha Berlin for 1.3 million after a decent year playing as backup for us. And Roberto Insigne, who we signed last year, has gone straight back to the Italian divisions to play for Udinese for just under 700k. Okay, now we're going to come into the incomings. Again, we've got more than 5 players, so I'll move through quick. We've got £10 million man Majid Ashimiru, a Ghanaian 29-year-old who can play as a box-to-box midfielder very well, who we've picked up for absolutely nothing from the Belgian divisions. Bargain hunting yet again at its very finest. Emil Breivik, a player that can play in multiple positions but offers us cover in the midfield at the age of 27, has joined us from Man City of all clubs, valued at 20 million. We've got him for free yet again after a good season out on loan at Lyon and Shakhtar. He originally joined City for 3 mil from Mulder, never played. We've taken him off their hands, and yeah, I think we're a happier team because of it. Maury Dior has joined us as a backup goalkeeper who can potentially compete for that number 1 shirt at the age of 34. The Senegalese international looks like a great talent, having played a lot of his career out in France for Clermont. Elliot Anderson has a crazy valuation of 45 million, which I believe is nowhere near what we'd actually sell him for if we did, but we've picked him up for absolutely nothing. No pennies at all for this man. 24-year-old from Newcastle. I know he's playing well in real life for them and playing a fair bit as well, the youngster, but here he never really got game time. Contract expired. We benefited from that, picked him up on a free. A young English player. If he develops, we can make a lot of money when we sell him back to the Premier League. And Calvin Ramsey joins us from Liverpool on a free to offer us some depth at fullback. And then our final 2 signings are both new gen players, but both take this team to another level. And if we continue this rebuild another few years, I have no doubt these players will become some of the best in the world. Thomas Rios is our first one, 18-year-old Argentinian midfielder joining us from Rosario Central for 2.1 million, could eventually rise to 2.4. Great talent, great ability, comes in as one of our best already. And it's another Argentinian Thomas that we've signed here, this time Thomas Silva, a centre-back, coming in from Estudiantes for 6.25 million after 5 great seasons for them at the back. A lot of ability straight away, and those two would be great signings for us, I'm sure. If we have a look at our best 11, I imagine they go straight into it if we were to take a look here. Let's see. In goal, we have got, drumroll, Gunnarsson with Van Rooij at the back, St. Jago, Thomas Silva, Dedic, Shekeri, Ortiz, Breivik, Manhuoff, Matson and Garrido, who has continued to develop. And again, we did reject a huge bid from Brentford for him, but this is the best 11 that we came up with after 6 seasons here at NEC in Nijmegen. We've done our best job trying to develop the team. I think the team would continue to get better in our absence, but we've got one more year to see how well we can do. Let's see what we can pull off in our 6th and final season. Okay, so I opened the mystery box. I got a random club shirt inside that I'd never heard of, knew nothing about the club, and within 6 seasons on Football Manager, We've turned it around. We have made this team the best team in the Eredivisie, winning the title with 87 points. That is a good 8 points, if my maths is correct, ahead of Ajax, and 5 points ahead of Feyenoord, with Garrido being the main man this year, Maatsen and St. Jago also being very dangerous for us this year. 87 points, 3 losses all season, all by only 1 goal, 3 draws as well. A great performance in the league, and we have finished as title winners, delivering the first ever title to the club. On top of that, we go and win the Johan Cruyff Schaal, the Dutch Super Cup, beating Ajax in penalties. Now, the Dutch Cup we did lose, but we got to the round of 16 of a Champions League. Remember, we had to do no qualifying this year. Got into the Champions League, finished in 16th place with 11 points, having beaten Genk, a team I've never heard of, and Monaco. We drew against Bilbao and Liverpool at home, which would have been great. Lost to Milan, Chelsea and Bayern, losing to the teams you'd expect. That put us in the knockout playoff round where we knocked out Monaco 5-3 on aggregate, faced off against Bayern, got beat 4-2, but we put up a good effort, and I'm delighted with how this rebuild has gone. The club has £31 million in the balance. In terms of the transfers, we'd have £10 million if we continued. A new stadium's being built. We've got great youth facilities, training facilities, coaching and recruitment. We have got a Dutch Cup and an Eredivisie. We've been in European competition pretty much every season that we've played. And we've got some great talent at the club, like Garrido, now valued at 40 million. We've given him a new contract. He's an under-21 international and had the year of his life last time out, and he's only 21. And Maatsen as well, clearly the hero of this rebuild. Never got an appearance for Denmark despite scoring 19 goals with 14 assists this year. Crazy stuff. I mean, 29, he might never get that cap, but he is apparently with the squad now, so maybe he will get the international cap. Well done, Magnus Maatsen. He made it into the international team, and I'm sure he'll do great for them. But that is the rebuild complete. We have done it. Surprisingly enough, considering this is the club's most successful era, we don't have a legend or an icon, but we do take up all of the favoured personnel spots. You might also see we've got a new key player. That's because we had to sign a new goalkeeper, Luis Junior, in January. I track all of the news items as the season went on in this final season, and I did see that Ajax had signed our goalkeeper for a release clause fee when I was checking in January to see if we needed any signings. We lost our goalkeeper for 5 million, the Icelandic one, so I decided to bring in Luis Junior. He's actually with the Brazil squad, and he only cost us 8.5 million, so I think that was a great bit of business and actually probably helped us that Ajax stole our keeper. But I've absolutely loved this rebuild, doing a club that I knew nothing about. Let me know who you want to see rebuilt next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and again, a big thank you to Surprise Shirts for sending us this and also giving us that discount code on the website. Again, if you're looking for a shirt for Christmas, or if you don't know who to manage and you want to get the FM Edition mystery shirt, I'm sure it will give you a great idea like we had here. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.